Hi there. Do you think Jesus would get vaccinated?
Huh?
Do you think Jesus would get vaccinated?
Heck no.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of a rhetorical question, but, you know, I got to ask it because there's a lot of people who think he would.
Yeah.
I know.
That's crazy.
It is, like, yeah.
I will not get vaccinated. I don't give a My own niece-in-law looked at me like I was stupid and was mad because I wouldn't get me and my kids vaccinated.
Really? Isn't that weird?
I get a reaction to anything.
Yeah.
Vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
You think I get the flu when I get the flu shot?
Right.
I had it once.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got the flu maybe almost 20 years later, and that was it.
Yeah.
But if I get the shot and my son, his feet go on fire.
Right. Or get sterilized, for all you know.
Yeah, I'm not. I even got my kids, if I signed the paper so my kids don't get no more vaccinations.
Great.
Because they're giving them way too many. My kids are teenagers. She's almost grown, talking about she needs 2 more vaccines.
Nope.
When I was 16, I was already done by the time I was 12.
I know, right?
And he still needs some. He's 13, about to be 4.
Yeah. I was born in '81, and I think I got like 3 or 4 my whole life.
Yeah, good for your parents.
They didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. Yeah. So, I got this here for you. If you want to check it out, I'd really love for you to. You seem like you have a great open mind.
You know, I am. Here, grab her for me. Yeah, no,
Hey, Bella.
I go by the Bible. Strictly. And that was one of my reasons for getting my kids vaccinated. I wrote 2 Bible passages that says no.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm really, it's good to see y'all doing good things.
Yeah, good to see you out here too. Glad we
Here,
could
Mom.
help encourage you though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mom, here. I'm not sure she's locked, so what are you talking?
Little yippers. No, not gonna have that dog. I'd assume that she didn't vaccinate her dog. I hope not. But they had service dog on the thing, so they might have to get vaccinated.
They were service dogs?
They had like their little jacket they were wearing said service dog on it.
I'm trying to take off.
Yeah, they're totally disobedient. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. What's up?
That's what Jesus would heal.
That's right.
That's right, brother.
Exactly. And he wouldn't wear a mask in a store either. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not there yet, bud. Don't wear a mask. I'll compromise with a mask. But that's what he did. He always challenged and said, well, it's, you know, you're physically doing something like murder, but when you think negatively, that's just as bad.
What's your dog's name?
Luna. The moon emits its own light, not the sun's. I just can't resist. I'm just no fun to hang out with. Nobody likes hanging out with me. Always goes back to flat Earth, doesn't it, Josh? And fake space. It does. He's smiling. He's laughing it up. Yeah, I know. At least I can see you're smiling. You're not wearing a mask. I know you do, right? It's not gonna. It can't keep COVID from your pocket. You can keep in your pocket. Yeah, you're keeping COVID safe in your pocket. Nice work, bud. If I just put my mask in my pocket won't get COVID. Oh, interesting. This is the logic we deal with. And then they're like, hey, I got it right here.
Pseudo.
Yeah, well, I got my mask in my pocket. I know you do.
Right here, it's on me.
What's up, man? That's right, man. Looks like it happening. Right? Could be. Yeah, you too, man. But again, you know, I think it's just another circle, though. You know, whatever is happening now is just another form of whatever happened before that somebody would write the Bible for. And the mark of the beast and all this other jazz. So this is just another type of the mark of the beast and the vaccine passport seems to just be that conduit right now. It's always good to have, you know, that back and forth real quick as they're walking by and they agree, you know?
Yeah. Just making sure.
And then, you know, they probably have some confidence with that and be like, hey, you know,
We can talk about it with his buddies.
right. Like, hey, you know, that guy thinks that the vaccine passport's the mark of the beast too.
Maybe he'll start looking into it more.
Sparked my interest a little bit. See what it's like going to be tomorrow. Let's see what the weather is
It's like sunny then cloudy.
Minnesota House to vote legalization of marijuanas. What 2050 could look like if we don't do anything about climate change, hot, a constant cough, regular mask wearing. CNBC.
You're going to vote for it for medicinal?
I don't know, I just saw the headline. I didn't click on it. It's 2050. Climate change, worst case scenario, has come to pass. The air is polluted, making you cough. You have to check the air quality before you open a window. When you go outside, your eyes water and you have to wear a mask. On bad days, a tech mask. And that's if you can afford it. So you got to buy that one mask from, what's his face, from Black Eyed Peas.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's good? Yeah, thanks, man. What do you think? Yes or no? I know, right? Depending upon where you live, the temperature could be as high as 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And it could last for months each year. And you'll have to pay for water in a bathroom. There's a mental toll to living in a world that feels like a dangerous obstacle course. People feel bottomless despair and resent previous generations for their lack of action. Well, this is, of course, the worst case scenario in what life could look like if there's no progression made to slowing down the greenhouse gases and mitigate climate change. According to Christina Figueres and Tom in their new book, The Future We Chose, The Stubborn Optimist's Guide to Climate Crisis. I like how they just assume things 30 years from now. I mean, if it, I guess we're going to play the assume game. I think that it's going to get colder. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think that we have had more evidence to show that our weather is getting colder and more unpredictable because of the chemtrailing and the geoengineering that's going on. The elevated frequencies in the air like 5G and cell phone towers and stuff. And now we got to worry about all these vaccine people vibrating at another frequency, changing the ether. So what are we going to do about the lack of action for the previous generation with refusing the vaccine? Are we going to have any heroes that stand up and say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to take the vaccine. I'm going to say no. And you can do it quietly too. You don't have to, set up a table at a park and let everybody know. But I hope that you don't lie to your family or friends about you getting vaccinated. I hope that you're not hanging out with people and you're just like, hey, to hang out with these people or to hang out with my family or my grandma, I'm going to say I'm vaccinated. Why would you say that? Why would you do that? Because then you're a non-vaxxer. Then you're going to go into an environment with a bunch of vaxxed people who psychologically seem to be less and less human as we continue to move forward, I've found. And the scarier people, it's kind of a toss-up. You can flip a coin. The religious government zealots or the Christians.
That's the camps.
Yep, two camps. But both camps think that the vaccine is either A, an advancement in science, or B, it was sent by God. Just like Trump.
It's here for a reason, for good.
Right.
And Jesus would approve.
He'd put his stamp on it.
Yeah. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah, he'd put his cross on it. Because that's what Jesus does. Jesus would walk around with the very thing that they hung him on.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, what do you wear that gold and silver and diamond studded knife on your neck for? As a necklace? Oh, that's to remember how my mom died. She was murdered by a knife. Right? Like, wait a second. It doesn't make any sense.
Or like a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
People just wear guns. Yeah.
Golden studded guns.
Paying tribute to the gun.
Give it another 25 minutes. We're at 3.5 hours right now. So talked a lot about cryptocurrency with a friend yesterday, trying to get into ARRR, pirate chain. So he's into private coins more so than the very public and very transparent Bitcoin and cryptocurrency transactions that they can see. Everything's logged now. I thought that was the whole point of getting into cryptocurrency, is that your Bitcoin purchases weren't going to be traced.
Well, that's how it started. Max Kaiser was saying that. He was saying that on the news, on RT. So that's how it started, and then it's not that message. It's not that same messaging thing.
No, it's not at all.
Which is pretty common.
So why do you think that they were always going to, be the way that they are, or was that just to get people to get into Bitcoin, or to bring up the price for everybody else that put $20 billion?
It was for a multitude of reasons. It's for a multitude of reasons. Everyone has to. Once that thing comes out, everyone, like certain people are adopters, and then they tell everyone to adopt, and then everyone doesn't pay. It's a hype train, But eventually, you just figure this stuff out after a while.
Yeah, he was saying that Dodge, I guess, has an unlimited amount of coins that it can be made, but Pirate Chain only has a limited amount, and it's not on any public, Pirate ARRR isn't on any public trading things right now, other than like Trade Ogre and a few others, so it's kind of like behind scenes. Might be a good time to get into it. It's about, I think, $5 or $6, $7.
That's what Jaron was pushing. Yeah, he's still on that.
I think because it's more of a privatized coin, that's why they're pushing it.
Is now more of a time to buy Bitcoin than ever?
Well, what happens in some cases is that you have to buy Bitcoin to then transfer it into ARRR.
Right.
And I bought more Bitcoin last week or a week and a half when it was at 55,000, and now it's at 43.
Yeah.
So this is my life.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Always just bad
I bought
with.
it at 50. It's at 43 now.
Yeah. So yeah, you buy it and then you just use Bitcoin as your Bitcoin wallet as a way to transfer funds to then buy ARRR. So it's kind of a process right now, but I guess it's worth the process because if they make it simpler, like on Robinhood, for example, then everybody's going to be in on it. So now would be the time to buy because it could. He was saying that he, in a sense, guarantees. My friend Dave, we were talking, said, I almost think that it's going to be above $50 by the end of the year.
What? Oh,
Yeah, Pirate.
What days?
Just a friend of mine, Dave Romero, who's on Facebook. So we talked a number of hours yesterday. There he is.
How you doing, man?
We're here. We're back at it.
Back at it. Cool.
Going hard in the paint. How about yourself?
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Just trying to just stir up the pot a little bit
Yeah.
with these signs.
Right on, man.
A lot of Christians think Jesus would do the right thing.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, you too.
How you doing?
Hey, good.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
I've been researching it a little bit. I haven't conducted my own investigation.
Yeah.
You mean, reading the gyroscopes. But yeah, it's plausible.
What do you think about the shedding idea? Vaccine shedding? People who are vaccinated
Tell
can
me.
shed particles or the proteins.
Yeah. And then they spread it to everybody
Yeah.
else. We're living in a weird world, man. You know that.
Yeah.
Right?
It crossed my mind that it could be, some people are claiming that people who are vaccinated emit EMF waves, like a router,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi
Actually
router.
detectable and everything.
Sure.
And
Well, everything resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got a certain frequency that it resonates on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
so
know,
curious because
I'm
we as
very
humans
skeptical about the whole. If they say it's good for you, I'd say it's probably bad for you. You know what I
very
mean?
good chances to
I
stay away
take the
from it.
contrarian point of view.
Mhm.
Smart.
Yeah, because
What you doing?
I've heard that a
Education.
lot recently, and a friend of mine and I were talking about it. Yes.
that?
What's up?
What's that?
Yeah, have you ever seen the universe from this perspective before? Outer space?
No.
No. Do you believe you live here? Too much for him. He's short-circuited. Hey, no worries.
Well, they're fearful
I
of what
see.
they don't understand.
I think he might have been.
A little.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, so we were talking, and he also told me that there's a new requirement. They have changed some of the questionnaires in the imaging when you go into a hospital to get imaging, and they want to know if you've gotten vaccinated because there were abnormalities showing up in people who were vaccinated, and they couldn't correlate and be like, hey, there's something going on with you through this X-ray, and we just want to.
What kind of abnormalities?
Well, the vaccine, I guess, was showing up on the imaging.
In what part of the body?
Everywhere. Like it was as if, because I've gone in
what
to
kind
do
of
like
imaging?
MRIs and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and like on my hips and stuff. Cause,
And what kind of changes were they seeing?
they were just, it was so much of an abnormality that they, brought it up, and
Who's
now
they?
the doctors.
Where'd you hear about this?
A friend of mine who works in a hospital in California,
All right.
and so he
Never
is
heard
part of
that.
the imaging in that hospital.
Mhm.
And so their questionnaire has recently changed where they ask you specifically if you were vaccinated, so then they can compartmentalize the
I know a lot of
abnormality.
radiologists, they never ever
never ever seen anything like that. We've seen a lot of life-threatening changes in the lungs from people who have COVID who ultimately go on to die.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what's
I mean,
your,
that's just
what's
what
your,
my friends.
what's your issue, you guys?
Is
Is this a religious argument or a medical argument against vaccines or what?
oh, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Depopulation, eugenics.
What's eugenics? Well, what's depopulated? We depopulated by about 600,000 Americans over the last year.
How so?
Dying from COVID.
What about car accidents or cancer,
Yeah, this
flu,
is
heart
it.
disease?
It was the #1 cause of death in the United States in January and February. #1.
Who said?
Because they died with
said?
COVID. They didn't die from
said?
COVID.
Who
They
said
died
that?
with
Whatever.
COVID
You
in their
guys,
system.
I'm an ER doc, okay?
Who said
I've
that?
seen people die of COVID.
I don't care
okay?
who you are. I don't care how many,
Well, you-
frames of pieces of paper you have on the wall.
You don't care about
Spouting
first
out your
person-
mouth that you're
How
a
mu-
doctor doesn't do anything for me.
Have you seen anybody with COVID who can't breathe? Or do you
do
just
I have to?
hear about
Yes.
some friend of a friend?
Do I have to see that to believe?
Well,
or not
it would
believe
give you a
something?
little bit more credibility than
Yes,
just
I
citing
have
some.
seen people who supposedly can't breathe with COVID.
Okay.
But at what point do you, as a doctor, say, are these people dying from COVID,
Yeah.
or are they dying?
We have a pretty good
with
idea when
COVID
they're
in their
otherwise
system
healthy people and they have an overwhelming respiratory infection and they die of a
and have
respiratory death.
pre-existing conditions?
And they some of them do, yeah.
Yeah.
So do we not care about them because they have diabetes or heart disease, or do we stop caring about people?
No, we don't.
Just
we
because
don't
people
put a
with
mask on and
pre-existing
shut our country
conditions
down.
die.
We don't put a mask on or
Okay,
everybody.
that's a different argument. Are we talking
No, it's
about
not.
vaccines or are we talking about
It's everything.
mask policy?
It's everything.
Okay, let's stick with vaccines for
Sure,
now.
yeah.
Okay, so why are you so opposed to vaccines? When
I
we
feel
know-
like it's
we know they-
experimental right now. It's
Okay,
not approved by the FDA. It's
No,
on
it has
experimental.
emergency
Yeah, that's
use
not approved.
authorization. After testing on 40,000 people, they gave emergency use authorization because it was an
That's-
emergency.
That's not approved.
It's emergency use authorization, and now we have the experience of millions of people.
Yeah,
getting
so
the
it's being
vaccine.
tested on people right now.
Yeah, and
So
you know
that's
what?
experimental.
And you know what? COVID deaths are plummeting. They've been plummeting since January.
Really?
Plummeting.
What about the vaccine deaths? Have
Yeah.
you looked into any of that?
Yeah, they're almost unheard of.
Almost unheard of.
Yeah,
Okay.
have you
kinda
heard
like,
of vaccine
COVID.
deaths?
Yeah, yeah.
What have you heard? Where have you heard that? A friend?
On mainstream news.
A friend?
Yeah, mainstream news.
Okay.
I've
Which
seen it.
which mainstream news?
Why does that matter?
I can show you statistics. I can show you documented
You
statistics.
could. I could show you Enron statistics too.
Enron.
Yeah, you know about Enron? Remember Enron?
Yeah. What does that have to do
So
with?
they
what does
fudged
that?
the numbers too, didn't
Yeah,
they?
and they all went to prison.
Yeah, so how do you figure it's going to happen with everybody saying that a 99% recovery rate illness is worth shutting the entire country down and
Okay.
forcing people to get vaccine passports or
The market
vaccines
of
to
peace.
feel like they can, conduct themselves
When I
freely
got the
in society?
vaccine, I feel like I feel like a weight's lifted off of me. Because
How so?
because I know I'm 99.5% protected against that
What about
disease.
your immune system? Do you
Yeah.
promote the immune system?
Absolutely.
Right.
Like
But-
sleep
but
and
you know
healthy
what, for
diet.
hundreds
You
of
know,
thousands of
diet like
Americans-
diabetes is typically caused by a bad diet.
What type of diabetes are you talking about?
Both
Type
1 and 2.
1 or 2? Not type 1. Type 2, yes.
So,
But I'm well with you on diet, exercise, lifestyle, all
have you
those
ever come
things.
across somebody with cystic fibrosis who has
Absolutely.
health problems? Can't
Absolutely.
breathe? and everything?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a genetic condition.
allegedly.
No, it is. It's not allegedly. Yeah, there's a very
Seems pretty
distinct-
alleged to me. Because I've had it. I'm 40.
Okay.
Just turned 40 a week
Are
ago
you
or two.
are you on meds to help?
Well, I mean, that's my own personal
Okay.
medical
Well, I hope you are,
thing,
because
so-
those meds are life prolonging for you.
They could
So,
be.
and I hope you don't feel those are experimental too, because at some point they were.
Sure, they might have been.
No, they were. All meds are experimental when they first start.
Well, all allopathic medicine is experimental.
They'll do anything.
They'll call a cop. They'll do.
Yeah,
they'll
we
do whatever they
yeah,
need to
exactly.
do.
We
So-
test medicines, and when we show that the benefit outweighs the risk, we move ahead.
Right,
Because
but-
they help save lives.
But diet and change of diet and everything
Absolutely,
else.
those are all important. It's not an either or. But
Make a false
again, for
claim.
hundreds of thousands of Americans,
And you
their
go
immune
to
system
jail.
wasn't enough.
And then
They
you
die of
get
this
a
disease.
higher
It's a terrible
liar.
disease. It's a terrible way to die.
Yeah. So is HIV/AIDS, dying by a car accident, and everything else.
Right.
So what doctors I've found, because I've been in the medical industry for almost 40 years as a patient,
Yeah.
they usually jump to conclusions.
Again, I don't know
And they
if I've
presuppose
talked to you
bad
about
things
this
are going to happen, just like I
before,
was reading an article about
But in
2050 and
most
climate
money.
change and how they're
Money
giving
is
off this
make-believe.
dystopian future about
Okay,
how
I
the
mean,
Earth is
again,
going
you're wandering off topic.
No, I'm
Let's-
not. I'm
Yeah,
saying
this is a
no.
totally different issue.
You
Climate
need to be
change. I mean,
patient.
we could talk about
Maybe you could
climate
try to be
change, but we're
patient.
talking about the
be
vaccine.
patient
We're
for a
talking
second?
about healthcare.
Maybe you could just be patient and take a deep breath.
Okay, can you tell me how climate change in any way is related to what the conversation
Yeah,
was?
so we're presupposing we all need to get vaccinated so we can get rid of COVID. Just like all these other things too. With me, when I was 9 years old, my doctor asked me to get a lung transplant at 9 years old.
Yeah.
And I said no. Because I was born with my lungs, I just want to live my life and do my
Yeah.
thing. So doctors tend to jump first and they don't wait for things to progress and develop and see how everybody responds to things.
Yeah.
And
Well,
unfortunately, doctors in general believe in like evolution and that type of
you don't believe
conversation.
in evolution
Absolutely
either.
not.
No.
That's
And do you believe in a flat Earth?
I know the Earth is a non-rotating level plane.
Okay.
And
All right. Have a
outer
good day.
space is
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm glad you're doing well with your cystic fibrosis.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like I just I do my thing and
Yeah. I mean, where do you get your? Okay, so where do you come up with the conclusion that the Earth is flat?
water, when contained, lays level and flat on the surface. So at what point do you see a physical curvature of water to make a ball in outer space that you have never seen before with your own eyes?
How is the water not flat?
They pay people to
I mean, the water's flat here because this particular
make up stories and
microcosm of the planet is flat.
Okay, how big is the Earth?
It is about 30,000 miles.
Something like that, yeah. The circumference, yeah. And so you could create
So
an
its
out. You could,
circumference doesn't line up with a flat Earth.
no, you could. It does because to have a ball, you need curvature, right? And so eventually the curvature has to drop to where you go far enough, you're eventually below me, right? Because
So
I'm on
are you
my.
okay with the globe is an accurate representation?
No, I make fun of that because that's not
You
real.
do?
Yeah.
What do you think of those pictures from outer space?
Those are all CGI. You should know that. Do you investigate or do any research?
I think we have pretty good data over the years.
You do. Who's we?
I've actually been in airplanes.
Who's we?
I've been in airplanes.
Who's we?
We scientists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
So I've been
who
in
is-
an
who is
airplane
your
too.
we?
I've been in an airplane
Can
too.
you see the curvature when you look out?
Is it fair enough to say that
Pay
there's?
attention, you'll
Is
see
it
the
fair
curvature.
enough to say that your eyes are between a fuselage and a window?
Well, do you know the first thermodynamic?
So you're saying that there's a distortion?
I'm saying that there's a variable that needs to be considered.
Alright.
Okay.
So-
And so how if there is an algorithm, if this is only so big,
Primary energy.
there has to be curvature at 8 inches per mile squared. So we
Yeah.
can see things too far on Earth over a body of water, where there should be curvature, and those things should be below your vision of sight.
All those lying astronauts, boy.
Yeah, they're Freemasons.
They're all Freemasons, huh?
They wear the ring while they're doing
So they're all
their.
in it together, huh? All in NASA.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
All of NASA's
Okay.
in a big conspiracy with each other, huh?
What's that?
All of NASA is in a conspiracy.
They're military personnel. They sign non-disclosure agreements, and because of the, they have to protect the country.
Man, that's an awesome code of secrecy. It's spanning decades.
Do you think that somehow the governments of the world are obligated to tell you the truth?
You know, I guess I don't walk around with such a jaded view where you don't trust authorities.
And you
Experts
walk
who
around
dedicate
with
their
this blissful ignorance and believe
No,
everything.
I'm very discriminating
So
with evidence.
there's no really middle ground between me and you then, right? Or is that what you're saying? Because you're a religious government zealot, and I am a conspiracy theorist.
If you're saying the Earth is flat,
It is
there's
flat.
no middle ground.
It is flat.
There's no middle ground.
You haven't been outside of Earth to see it from that perspective before.
No, a lot of people have.
You haven't.
I know.
So you believe it, and you're in a religion. So I don't need to.
So it's your belief versus mine.
Our Creator would give us the ability, without second or third party instruments or testimony from lying astronaut Freemasons,
Wow.
to tell me where I live.
And you don't think Jesus would get vaccinated?
Absolutely not. No, do you think Jesus would?
I think he would.
Yeah, you don't know him very well, though,
Would
do
the
you?
devil get vaccinated?
He's the one promoting the vaccine
How do you know?
because it's experimental and
How do you know it's the devil behind it?
because there's good and evil, sir.
Well, you don't
should-
even want to
You haven't figured this stuff out. How old are you by now?
How do you know what the devil
How old are you right now?
I'm 47.
Okay.
How old are you?
I just turned 40.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
So how do you know what the devil thinks?
Because I'm not perfect. Because I have negative thoughts.
I mean, that's a pretty bold statement.
No, it's a question.
To know what Jesus. Oh, okay. Well, I would.
Isn't it a question?
My answer is yes.
Okay, and I say no.
Okay.
Where in Scripture could you give me evidence that Jesus would take a vaccine?
Jesus was about healing the sick.
Yeah, he would heal people. Why would he give a vaccine? No,
Any energy resource.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It gets them sick. It makes them sick.
But you know, if you want to,
I'm love. Honesty is love.
Yeah,
Being honest is love. Telling the truth
comes
is
right
love.
from the devil.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So
the idea of the
that's why
coronavirus.
Jesus would oppose the devil. He would get the vaccine.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You're
the devil's
crazy.
spreading
You're a
this
conspiracy
coronavirus. And what would Jesus do? He'd say, "We need to save lives, brother." Yes, this devil, you're bad, man. We're gonna knock you out with our vaccine. No. Johnson & Johnson, baby.
Oh, how many times has that been removed from the market?
Yeah, it's back. It's back.
Yeah. What about Pfizer?
Pfizer's great, man.
Yeah, how many times have they been investigated for falsifying information?
Well, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you could just type it in Google and find out. It's really easy.
I'll tell you,
It's actually the first thing that shows up.
We're going to very solid information.
Who's we?
We, the medical community.
Oh, okay. So
World Health Organization.
you're part of the medical community. Did you know that in Wisconsin, doctors cannot or do not have to give testimony against another doctor who has malpracticed?
Really?
Yeah. So you guys are just as bad as the military.
We're like the NASA.
Well, you're not honest. You just don't seem generally like honest people. Doctors.
What do you think motivates us?
Money.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you were actually about helping people, you would quit and then help and do alternative medicine, which was actual medicine before Rockefeller took
If it
over.
worked, if there was evidence to show it worked.
It does. Vitamin D, sun, positive thinking.
Yeah, if there's
fruits and vegetables.
If you can roll out a double-blind study, a randomized double-blind study to show any alternative type of treatment works, I'm all for it. But the vast majority of alternative medicine, there's nothing to support it, no research. There's anecdotal stuff. Someone will say,
like what?
"Oh, I took this zinc and my cold went away." Okay, that's what we call anecdotal medicine because
is it a coincidence?
Your cold would have very well could have gone away, and maybe the zinc helped, maybe it did. But if it's just an anecdotal account, that's not research. What you need to do, you need a double-blind study where you take 100 people who get the zinc, 100 people who get placebo. Nobody knows what either is getting. Then you evaluate them, and a week later see who still has their cold and who doesn't. And if you could show people took the zinc, 25% more of them got better sooner. Then you got data.
Do you think it's better mind over matter type of thing? If I give you a pill and say it's this or that, and you believe it?
Well, absolutely. There's the placebo effect, which is why you have to do a double-blind study. You don't know if you're getting the pill or a sugar pill.
I have a sign that says celebrities are the placebo group.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't feel like there's too many celebrities out there showing their skin rashes or anything like that. Like, there's not very much. And I see a lot of. Well, of course, right. Why would they? Because they don't want people to be afraid of the vaccine. They want them to get it.
Oh, okay. Well, I want people to get it.
Yeah.
I spent the day giving the shot to 12-year-olds.
Is there vaccine shedding?
Vaccine shedding?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I've heard through the grapevine, both conspiratorial and mainstream, that there's this idea of protein vaccine shedding.
And I honestly, I don't know I don't understand what you mean by shedding.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. I don't really fall into it. But like, you get the vaccine, right? And then you shed through your pores or your skin cells or whatever, because we, shed skin cells. And then women have claimed that they've had like menstrual problems or different things around people who have been vaccinated.
It's not even biologically plausible. So
I didn't because I don't feel led that viruses in and of themselves travel that way.
Yeah.
And then
vaccine, the coronavirus, it's well established. It travels through the air.
Yeah, that's fantasy talk. And so
it's a fact.
So I don't know. I just haven't gotten into the shedding thing, but I do feel like people who are vaccinated